So we're headed to the conference room. We're going to take a video for you about relationships, communication, what destroys a relationship that most people have no idea what they're doing, and actually it's going to have a lot to do with traffic. So you're going to see some interesting things and some paradigms that you never thought about. And we're going to tie in what road rage has to do with destroying most relationships. So let's hop in the car and head to the meeting room. Hey, it's Paul Sterling. We're headed over to the office, but right here, that's a Stanley Hotel, and they did The Shining there. And I just thought I'd give you a little local info as we're driving here. I actually never started out to be an intimacy coach. In fact, I went through 1 divorce, 3 broken engagements, and had a career as a commercial fisherman in Alaska. So none of those would actually qualify me for doing what I do now. I ended up stumbling on something called nonviolent communication, created by Marshall Rosenberg, and when I started applying that, things started to change, and people saw such a dramatic change in me that I ended up being asked to teach other people that. And I've started working with couples, and I ended up teaching university professors at the Naropa University in Boulder, and I've had a program where I teach inmates about communication, and I've been teaching that for the last 7 years, and I've worked with at-risk youth, and most of my focus though is on couples that love each other but hate the way that they communicate, and they're trying to bring back their relationship, bring back the intimacy, the passion, the connection, the commitment. So we're going to dive in, we're going to go over the meeting room, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I've learned about relationship communication and how to have an impact, what to change and how to change it to make a difference in your relationships. And I'm going to go through an example of how road rage, what can you learn from people around road rage that can have an impact on your relationship. So let's dive in and go for it. Have you ever noticed that the people you love the most are often the most difficult to talk to? Especially in a relationship, and especially when things are important and impactful. Paul Sterling here, magicrelationship.net. Today I'm going to talk to you about road rage and relationships. What do they have to do with each other? So what I want you to do is picture yourself in a car, and maybe you're not the typical driver, and maybe you are. I used to live out by LA, so we had LA drivers. And I call this the LA story. And what happens when you're in the car, somebody cuts you off? What's the first emotion that most people say that comes up for them? It's typically anger. And then when they get angry, how do they react? And by the way, this will all tie into relationships, don't worry. I've been teaching this for about 7 years in prison. I work a lot with couples, but I also have a volunteer program where we teach compassionate communication to inmates. And the reason I'm talking to you today about this is because I was teaching this in prison and I had an aha. And I'll tell you about the aha in a minute, because it's like, wow. No wonder some relationships aren't working, and no wonder I have so much problems at times in my relationship, because I was making this mistake I'm about to teach you here. So anger, so what are the ways that we let other drivers know that we're angry? We can use the horn, we can use hand signals, like something like this, give them the finger. We can do a tailgate them. Yell. A brake check's where you go in front of them and then check your brakes. cut them off, all of these different ways of letting them know what? That you're angry at them. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about this. So that's scenario one. Scenario two, picture yourself again in a car on the highway with a car full of kids. A car cuts you off. What's the first feeling that you have? Most people, the first feeling is fear. And the feeling is fear. What need do you have for your kids and for yourself? The need is safety. Feeling fear, need is for safety. So if you think about it, would any of these behaviors on this side of the board make you safer? Honking your horn, the horn you might be used just to let them know you're there, not aggressively. Giving them the finger tailgating, yelling at them, brake check, are any of those going to make you safer? None of them. So what can you do? What you can do is you can dial 911. You can back off. You can take a breath. I love that I'm writing right off the edge of the board here. It just keeps right on going. Take a breath. You can pull off. And it keeps going down. Now, if you think about it, how much control do you have over here? Total control. How much control do you have over here over the other person's reaction? You don't. A lot of this is actually going to make it more dangerous. Now, I was telling this and teaching this in prison, and I was teaching it to get people connected to their feelings and their needs. And then I had this aha. I said, look at in relationships. Look at when you have an upset in a relationship. Rather than the LA story, you can have the home story. Your lover comes home late from work, and you can react on this side of the board. You can get angry. Rather than beeping your horn, you can withhold love. You can yell at them. You can get in a fight. You can not feed them. You can make them sleep on the couch. All of these things over here. But are they going to get you what you want over here? What you want over here, by the way, is you might want understanding. You might be feeling, the feeling might, if they're home late and didn't call, you might be afraid. You might be hurt. You might be disappointed. Your feelings are hurt. What are you needing? You're needing reassurance, love, a hug, connection, being held, understanding, empathy, all of these needs over here. Now, if you behave over here by withholding and pulling away, how likely are you to get your needs met over here? Very unlikely. Now, what I want to do is, this is a breakthrough. Like, if you actually really think about this in the relationship, when I coach people and they get it and they move from this side of the board to this side of the board, it transforms the way they interact. Now, what's the key to move them from one side to the other? Vulnerability. Powerful vulnerability. Over here, you need to be vulnerable. You actually need to say, what am I feeling and what am I needing? And by the way, if you think about it, plumbers have a special language. They talk about T's and the different pipe fittings and all the rest of it. Attorneys have a language. Doctors have a language that they use. The language of relationships, the language of love, is the language of feelings and needs. And if you want to get your relationship, some people come to me because they wanted their relationship back to the way it was. And my commitment is not to get it back to the way it was, but to get it to a place it may never have been before, to take you to a whole nother level of intimacy, connection, understanding, love. And part of it is to move from this side of the board to this side of the board. You can start tonight. This is just one of the starting blocks for the Magic Relationship Method system. So if you like this, we have more videos for you. All you need to do is put your name and your email. There's going to be somewhere over here in there. And what we're going to do when you put your name and email in, you'll get to the next video that's going to take this deeper. We're also going to send you some emails, and not a lot of them, but about upcoming events. A little bit about my ebook called Stop in the Name of Love, and the MP3s. Give you some tools to help you take your relationship from one side to the other. Take it from one where it feels like you're battling with your lover and they're your enemy, over to the other side where it feels like you're on the same team, that you're partners, and that there's more harmony and love and respect and appreciation and intimacy. And by the way, guys, if you're watching this, intimacy doesn't start in the bedroom. Intimacy starts with the way that you communicate with each other. So thank you very much. I hope you got a lot out of this video. We really enjoyed making it, and look forward to giving you more information on the next video. Thanks.